everybody, I want to make a video talking about the games I enjoyed this year. These aren't necessarily games released in the year 2024. In fact, most of them weren't, but I just want to talk about games I liked. So the first game on my list is Pac-Man Championship Edition. Like most people, I like playing some of the Namco arcade classics like Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Galaga, but I've also played a couple other Pac-Man spin-offs like Pac-Man Party and the Pac-Man World games. So I like a bunch of them, but I never really played Pac-Man Championship Edition when it first came out, like Xbox Live Arcade, even though I knew it had like pretty good reviews. So on the Steam sale I saw it the other day, it was on sale, so I was like, oh, let me try it out. And yeah, it's pretty fun. I like playing it. I was playing on Steam Deck for the most part, and I think a lot of the modes and the variations add to the enjoyment of it because you have like the one where it's like the full time and you gotta like get as many points in like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But then there's also the time attacks, which are pretty fun because those are like really short bursts of gameplay, like less than a minute. So it's like fun to try to like beat your time or see if you can like do it a little better and then do like the big time challenge and get as much points. So there's like different play styles with that because with a time attack, you're just more focused on getting the apples complete, whereas the score, like I guess score attack mode, the ones that are 5-10 minutes, you're focused on like racking up like a bunch of ghosts so you can just like chomp through it all. And I really like the effects and sound play or sound effects that it does because like for like amplifies as you're like chomping like a bunch of them. So it's a really fun game. I recommend it. I think it's a really good one. So the next game on my list is another arcade-inspired game called Dodo. This one is like a newer game, so it wasn't released when the old games were, but it takes heavy inspiration from those styles of games, and it's really fun. You control a little guy, and you have to go around while there's like a dodo and he's running. He's next to a donut, hence the name. And you got to collect a bunch of little donuts to then clear the board. Once you collect them all, you have to touch the top donut and then you move on to the next stage. Each stage, unlike a lot of the older arcades where like take example Pac-Man, it's like the same map, but it's like repeating and there's different like speeds and stuff. But this one has like 4 stages and each one has their own like little gimmicks around the same concept of collecting the donuts, and it takes heavy inspiration from other also classics, like there's the Donkey Kong Jr. where you're climbing the vines and stuff and you can go around. There's the Donkey Kong like fire in one level, which is pretty cool, and it's just a really fun game. What I like about this one that makes it like pretty addicting is there's a bonus for like time, so like if you get the level done quick you get like a bunch of points, which can help you get like a new life to continue the game. And the what's it called, there's also combos, so the donuts will flash, and if you can get the ones that are flashing you can rank up even more points like as a combo, so it like multiplies, which is really cool because that one's like a little more challenging because at first like when I played, you just collect the ones near you to just try to get the level done. But it's more better to try to collect, if you can, the one that's glowing and then go to the other ones, even though they're farther on the map. But it's really fun. It's also a challenging game, so it like makes when you die and you try to like keep as many lives, so you really want to try to get more points. So this one was really fun. I had a lot of fun playing it, and I'm excited for their next game, Looney Landing or Looney Landers, next year. So for the next set of games, I'm just gonna put them all together in this section. So I played a lot of Sonic games this year because last year I played Sonic Mania and really enjoyed it. So this year I try to get a couple more of the older Sonic titles that game takes inspiration of. So I played Sonic Origins, which is a collection that has Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and Sonic CD with a couple of the Game Gear games. I just played the main 4 that the game comes with, so I got through Sonic 1, 2, 3, and CD. I like all of them in their own aspect. Sonic 1 and Sonic CD I like a little less than Sonic 2 and 3. I'd say Sonic 2 is my favorite, but I think a little bit of nostalgia plays into it because I played originally on the GameCube, the Mega Collection with Sonic 2. I didn't get that far. I got stuck on Chemical Plant Zone. But that's the one I played, and I really like it still. I think those memories carry on with me for that. But it's really fun. It's a fun platformer and one that I'm glad to get through all of them because I was more of a Mario guy. So I played Mario, Kirby, those like Nintendo games, but not really too many Sonic ones. And I really like Sonic. I like the fast speed that you can get through the levels. It's like tough because what's it called? If you're not familiar with the level layout, you die a bunch, which I died a bunch. So I'm grateful to the Origins collection because it doesn't have the live limit in the anniversary version. So I could die as many times as I want and just get through it, or just like power through it. But it's pretty fun. I like the levels, I like the boss mechanics. And some of them are really fun. So I'm really happy to get through that. I also played through Sonic Superstars, which was released around the same time as Sonic Origins, and that one I played on Nintendo Switch. So what's it called? It has a little bit more issues where the load times are pretty long or a little longer, but I thought it was a fun game. I like it a little less than some of the original Sonic titles, so I like those ones a little bit better, but I thought it was a fun platformer. There's some with the bosses are a little longer, or in particular, there's like a gold pig boss that I had difficulty getting or figuring out what to do. So I like use one of the Chaos Emerald mechanics where you can like bump through him, or yeah, like dash through him pretty much. So like cheese it in a way, which I feel like cheats it a little bit, but no, everything else was pretty fun. I didn't get through the last boss because that one was like a little too hard for me. I thought maybe, you know, it was like a very long boss, maybe like in the middle checkpoint or something, but nope, I thought it was a fun game, so I would recommend it. Definitely on sale. I think $60 was a little pricey for it, but I got it like I think 20 or 25, so I think that's a decent price. And yeah, I'm glad to get through those Sonic games. And I played a little bit, but not too much of Sonic Adventure 1 because I was pretty excited with Sonic. We were watching the movies as well, so I wanted to play through that one, but I didn't get that far, so maybe I'll put it in next year's video. Hopefully, I want to play through that one still. And I played a little bit of Sonic Frontiers, a little bit more than Adventure. I'm like 2-3 hours in, but that one's pretty fun. I like the exploration where it feels like everything has like a little obstacle that you can find something in, and I really like the levels in it. So there's the overworld where you can like explore, get a bunch of collectibles, and then there's like pillars where you can go into, and it's like a Sonic Boost era level design, so it's like more linear. But those are pretty fun. I like them because they're short and you can like try to, you know, replay and get a better time as well. I'm not that good at it, so I played it a bunch to try to get the S ranks in the levels I can, but that one's pretty fun. I want to get through that one as well, and hopefully a couple other Sonic games through next year. So the next set of games are also platformers. I really like platformers, and they're the games developed by Ciactro. I first heard of the developer from an Antdude video where he talks about Tori 3D, and I got that one on Switch a little while, or like a year or two ago. But I wanted to play some of the other games because I really liked that game. So on Steam Deck, I got Beeny, Macbat 64, and Super Kiwi 64. Starting with Beeny, this one's a short 2D platformer inspired by the Donkey Kong Country games, using a very similar art style where you control Beeny and you gotta hop from platform to platform to get to the top and get some honey. It's pretty fun. I like the game. It's short and sweet, so you can get through the levels in less than an hour, and it's a pretty fun experience, especially on a handheld where you can pick up and go. The next two games, Macbat and Super Kiwi 64, are, as the name suggests, heavily inspired from N64 collectathons. They both play pretty similar, where Macbat, he can fly a little bit higher, and Kiwi can use his like beak to lodge into like kind of like Mario Odyssey, where you can like plunge into things and hop. So they're both pretty fun, similar collectathons where they're both pretty short and you can collect and see a bunch of things. One thing I like in these types of games, or the games developed by Ciactro, is There's always like the fun elements, so it's like the fun, colorfully one, and then in some instances, randomly, it seems there's like a spooky, like haunted one, which is always fun to see. So I really like these games. They're short, fun, and definitely really good on Steam Deck. So the next set of games I played through are also platformers. They're the Dadish games. I saw the individual ones a couple of times in the eShop, but managed to pick up the Dadish Collection that was released with 1, 2, and 3. And they're all pretty fun games. I like them. They're short platformers where they have different, what's it called? You play as Dadish, who's a dad that's a radish. It's pretty cute. And each level you have to go and save one of the kids. So there's a couple different challenges you have to get through to get to the end. What I really like about the game is each level, as you save one of the kids, they do like a little quip and tell like just like either a random comment or something funny to the dad. So it's pretty fun. I like that. And each game is pretty similar, so all pretty short games that do get kind of challenging. Some of the later levels in particular, I died a bunch, so I had to like keep trying to get through it. So does offer that, but there's like a couple differences. In the second game and the third one, there's both like a burger that you can like use, and it like automatically moves and you hop through the levels, so it's like a different way of playing than normal. And the tomato is a little similar to that, so it offers kind of like almost like a vehicle type thing. But yeah, it's a pretty fun game. I really like these platformers. So the next game on my list is BOXBOY plus BOXGIRL. It's developed by the HAL Laboratories, who are the Kirby developers, and I really like Kirby, so I wanted to try this game out. And yeah, it's a fun, simple platformer where you control BOXBOY. His mechanic is that he can create boxes that you can use to climb up or solve different obstacles in the levels and get through. And I like it because it's such a simple concept of creating a box, but as they add different worlds, you can see all the different variety of mechanics that add on to such a simple concept to make it like a full and complete game. So it doubles down for me doing game development, what's it called? And platformers of the types of mechanics and the types of level designs that you can add to a game and to add variety to the levels. So that part I think is really fun, and it's just a fun game as well. I really like that with each level you get a bunch of coins and like collectibles, so you can use that to unlock a bunch of different costumes. And I actually really like their costume system because it's like one of those things where you put the coin and you turn and it gets something random. So kind of like, I think gotcha is the word. But yeah, so you get like a variety, so you don't get to pick which one you do, which I kind of like because then you kind of have to mix and match with what you have rather than stick with one concept throughout. So you can unlock something that you really like and then add it to your character. So I think that's a good way to add variety. I also like the other collectibles. They have like little challenge level music tracks and fun little comics, which just add to the charm of the game. So I really like BOXBOY plus BOXGIRL. It's a pretty fun platformer. The next game on my list is Yooka-Laylee, The Impossible Lair. This game was, I didn't play the original Yooka-Laylee, but I heard this one was very good, inspired by like Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, and those modern Donkey Kong platformers. And I really like it. It's pretty fun. I like the idea that there's the impossible level that the game throws you into, and it's really challenging. But once you get through it, then it throws you into the main game, or once you die in it, it throws you into the main game, and you have to get through as many of the levels to get hit points, so like hearts that you can go into the impossible level and try it out again. I like this because it leaves the challenge up to the player. So if you want, you can go through each of the levels and get as many points as you can to, or B battalions they call them, as you can go into the impossible level and try it with as many hits. Or if you really want, you can go in right at the gate and just try to go back in. This is pretty fun because it allows you to take the levels at your own pace, and obviously as you play more of the game and play more of the levels, you get better. And there's a lot of pretty fun mechanics that they do in the levels. I like the remix version of the levels where they take one level and then they kind of flip the concept or add something to it to make it feel like a completely different level. Like there's ones where it's like a chase and you go through the level one way and then you're just rushing through the level as something's getting you. Or they add like a couple other ones, like a frozen version of the level for like a water level, and it's pretty cool. I also like that in like outside of the levels, because some 2D platformers have it where you just go level to level. This one has it where there's the overworld and you have to interact with the overworld to progress and unlock new levels, or the remix levels, and you have to like move things in a certain way. So this one's a really fun game. I like Ukulele, and definitely want to try the original one out. I know they're doing a remake, so definitely want to try that one when it comes out. And yeah, this one's a pretty fun one. I played through The Messenger, which is a fun action 2D platformer where with this game, I really like how the character controls. You have a variety of different moves with your slashes. You can glide and have like a throwing star kind of weapon. And those are pretty fun, and it really, this type of like movement really adds to when you do the boss fights, which are my favorite part of the game. They remind me of like 3D action games like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, where the spectacle of the boss is really fun to get through, and the boss has like a variety of different moves and phases that make it pretty challenging to get through. So you really feel the sense of accomplishment when you finally do defeat them. So I really like this, and there's a fun twist halfway through the game as well that I liked a lot. It was really nice to see. So I recommend The Messenger. On a very similar note, my next game is one of my favorites of this year, Viewtiful Joe. I got to play through that one. This one I was interested through its connection to Hideki Kamiya, who made a lot of the games I mentioned before, Bayonetta, Devil May Cry, that I love those types of games, and Viewtiful Joe is one of the ones that he made too that I didn't really get to play. I got to play my Steam Deck, but it's a really fun game. It's very difficult, very challenging, but it's fun. I love the mechanic of the zoom in and fast up that Viewtiful Joe does, because it adds to the combat where you can like zoom in and everything slows down, kind of like Witch Time in Bayonetta, where you can just punch through, and the sound effects really add to it, because as it's zoomed in, you like really feel the thump of the punch, so like makes it like have a major impact. And then you can like slow down and zoom in. I think I confused the two, but and then you can do like even more moves, which is really cool. And or on the other hand, you can make the time go by really fast and just like blitz through an enemy. So I really like the unique puzzles that they do with this type of thing. So in some of them, you'll need to like go really fast to like set things on fire and something will happen, or use it in some sort of way. Or on the other hand, you can use the slowdown to get through something that's going fast, or like time your punch for like one of those revolving things and just hit it in a certain way. So those are pretty fun to get through, and adds to the variety of the, not just fighting the bosses or fighting the enemies, but the level overall. And the bosses are my favorite part of the game, just like a lot of the hack and slash or action games. And there's a fun variety here as well. It is, like I said, they're very difficult to get through the game, but so I had to admittedly use save states to try to like help myself progress through it. But it's a really fun game. I really hope that they can bring it to modern platformers with either an HD remake or yeah, I think an HD remake would be pretty nice, or a sequel in some sort of way. But yeah, Viewtiful Joe is a really fun game. So I've mainly been talking about games that I've experienced for the first time this year, but there was a couple games that I replayed this year that I also really liked, so I wanted to mention here as well. The first of which is Rayman 2. It's a 3D platformer that I originally played on the 3DS a little bit with Rayman 3D. I didn't get through the whole thing, but later on, I got it on PC as Rayman 2 with the GOG version that I got through, and this year I'm replaying it on Steam Deck. the same GOG version, and it's pretty fun. I like getting through the levels of Rayman. The next game is Donut Country. That one's a pretty fun game where you play as a hole, and it's like Katamari where you start off small, and as you get different objects, the hole gets bigger, and you have to get more, like, all the objects into the hole, and there's like fun little puzzles around it. So I really like it. It's a short game, so, but it has like a cute story with it, with fun little characters. I like the fun little, on the texting section, there's like a duck and you can press in like quacks. That's pretty fun. But yeah, that one's a fun short game that I played a few years ago on Xbox, well, Game Pass, but this year I'm playing on Switch. Another game very similar to that where I played on Xbox, now I'm playing on Switch this year, is The Gardens Between. This one is a puzzle game where the mechanic is you control two players and time moves forward when you move forward and moves backwards when you move backwards, and stuff within a level also move as well. So, and you have to try to get you both to the top using trying to get like light sources to make pathways or remove like fog and different things from pathways. I like it. It's a fun platformer, or not platformer, it's like a puzzle game. And it has a really nice and sweet story to it. It's also a very short game as well. So it's a good one for the Nintendo Switch. The next games I replayed are a bunch of hack and slash games. After I played Viewtiful Joe, I wanted to play more of those types of games. So I replayed Devil May Cry 3, which I originally played on Xbox with the HD collection, and a little bit on Switch with the special edition a few years later. And this year I'm playing it on Steam Deck. It's pretty fun. I like Devil May Cry 3. When I first started it, it's a very difficult game, as most hack and slashes are, where I kept dying on the Cerberus boss. He even gives you like the easy mode unlocked when you die a couple times. But over the years, I gotten better at more familiar with the mechanics and reading stuff online on how to beat the bosses and stuff. So this year I got through it pretty good. I didn't have to use too many items at the last level. So it's a fun game. I like triggering through the different weapons. My favorites are Agni and Rugna, where you can use the different fire and ice, or fire and wind. And then I also like the Cerberus, which is the ice weapon, as a fun roll attack with it. So those are the ones I use. I use Trickster as the mechanic that you use, because it offers like a nice little way to dash out of damage or enemy path. So that was that one. I also played through Metal Gear Rising, which is my favorite game of all time. I play it most years in a row. I think I took one or two off, but this year I played it on Steam Deck because I wanted to see how it would run, and definitely wanted to try it again because it's been a little bit, and it runs really good on Steam Deck. I like playing it. I thought it would be like maybe a little slow, or maybe like a little bit of a hiccup, but no, I played pretty good. And it's really made for that experience. It kind of scratched the itch I had a few years ago when on Nintendo Switch. I was kind of hoping maybe, unlikely, but maybe. But no, it's really fun on Steam Deck. I like the bosses in this one. It just feels like you're going through non-stop action throughout, because each major level has like a big boss, and they really do feel like larger than life, and you're just slashing through these big giant creatures and different characters. So it's a really fun game. I love it. And the next one on my list that was similar was Wonderful 101. This one I played on the Wii U back in the day when it first released. It has, I think it's the game most inspired by Viewtiful Joe, because the Wonderful 101's like Wonder Red is very similar to Viewtiful Joe in itself. But it plays pretty differently. It's a 3D game compared to Viewtiful Joe, and it uses the Wii U gamepad or the trigger stick to where you have to draw different shapes to make your weapons. And I like it. I played it on Steam Deck this time, and it's pretty fun there. And I didn't really miss too much the Wii U gamepad, only in like certain sections where some things were made for looking at the gamepad. It offers like a little secondary screen pop-up, which I didn't like that much, but the overall game is pretty similar. It's very fun, and I use the stick to draw anyways, so it didn't bother me. I like the different types of characters in that game. There's a bunch of varieties, so you can do like sword, punch, gun, and then later on you get like completely unique ones like what's it called, like claws, hammers, and bombs. So it's fun using as many as you can, and trying to figure out and see like different types of ways to defeat enemies, because some enemies are very good to defeat with one type of way compared to another. So that is really fun, and like all these types of games, the bosses are over the top and extremely fun to figure out. I did want to also mention I played the DLC expansion for the Wonderful 101, the Wonderful One, After School Kid. This one's a pretty different experience to the Wonderful 101, where that one's like an action game, and this one's more like kind of like a 2D shoot 'em up kind of game. It's pretty fun for what it is. It's a very short experience, but one that's pretty fun, and one that I might replay a couple times later on. The last major game I got through this year is one that I was very excited to replay one time, because it's been a very long time since I played it. Like over 15 years or something like that, but it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monster Coliseum. I originally played it when I was very young on the PS2, and it's one that I've been itching to replay ever since. And I was a little worried, because sometimes, you know, like nostalgia is a very powerful tool, so it can make experiences that you remember as one way, but then when you revisit it, it's completely different. Or for games like you think it's like an amazing game, but you replay and it's like not as good the second time, or the cracks start to fall in the picture. But no, I really liked Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monster, maybe even more than I did back then, and the memories have it. It's a game that plays kind of like chess, where you have your set of monsters and your king piece, and the opponent has their own, or the CPU has their own, and it plays a lot into the elemental aspect, kind of like Pokemon, where each type, so like Dark has its advantage and disadvantage. Dark has advantage on Earth and disadvantage with Light, and each of the types as well. And you have to play into that and the environments as well. So like if there's a water, then your fire guy's not going to do as good in water, vice versa. And it's really fun. I liked getting through and progressing through the levels. I did wind for mine. And as you play through the game, you can like level up your monsters that you really use all the time, and evolve them in certain conditions. Or you can, like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Game itself, put two monsters together if they're a certain level, and then fuse them to a more powerful monster. And it's just really fun to get through and strategize your way around the different levels. The CPU is not impossible, but there was some tricky levels, like one or two that I died, or I would have to really think my moves, because if you like move it and they get you, you're at a big disadvantage and probably might lose. So I really like the game. The only thing that I would say is, I guess, not a hindrance, well, kind of a hindrance, that once you get through the game and defeat everybody, you can replay the game, but you start with your really powerful monsters against, you know, like the beginning of the game, so it's like pretty easy to get through that way. But that's not a knock on the game. It's a really fun game. I like it a lot, and I really hope in the future they can, you know, put it in. They do like a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Collection, so maybe put it on modern consoles, and maybe with a like extra mode, like an extra mode or something like that, or online play to, you know, help incentivize better play. But I really like it. It's one that I'm excited to play through again in the future. So those are all the major games that I played this year. There are two more that I wanted to speak very briefly on that I didn't get through, you know, completely or enough to mention on their own section in the video, but ones that I definitely wanted to give a little shout out to. The first one is Atari 50, which is a collection that goes through the history of Atari in various formats, from text that goes through a timeline, but there's also videos, images, and the games themselves that let you play through it. So I think it's a very unique experience to get through, and something that for me that I think is very informative, because I like learning about video game history, especially stuff that, you know, I wasn't able to be a part of or experience while it happened. So stuff like this is something very incredible to get through and learn about how it happened with Atari. And I hope other companies can do it too, because I think it's just really cool to learn about the different types of things for games. And the second game that I didn't get through all the way, but I did like what I played, was Animal Well. I played a little bit, maybe like an hour-ish of it. This is from Video Game Donkeys publishing studio, a Big Mode and Billy Basso. It's a 2D platformer that's and like Metroidvania type, but it's very focused on exploration and like finding different things and that being the experience. And it's very unique in that aspect, because it does really feel like you're thrown into this, like, you know, like the name suggests, like a well or like a big wave type of thing, where you just start and you just go explore whatever you want. And as you find things, you just use that to collect or move on in the game and progress through different little puzzles and challenges. And it's very unique in that essence, and it's very interesting to get through the different types of things. So I was getting footage for it the other day, and it was pretty enthralling to get through. So I definitely want to get through that one and definitely recommend it. So those are the two other games I mentioned. And I mentioned earlier, I played a little bit of Sonic Adventure and Sonic Frontiers, which were both pretty fun. So that's all the major games I got through, or all the games I got through this year and played a little bit of. I hope everyone has a happy new year, and I'm excited for 2025 to play a lot more games. All right, bye-bye.